Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. It's Teresa here, and today I'm sharing a layout for the Clique Kits International Creative Team. I'm working with the Clique Chromatics Rainbow Sherbet Kit. Of course, I'll have the product link below, and I thought I would do a pocket page in my 6x8 Life Crafted album today. What I'm doing this year is kind of stepping away from Project Life and just doing 6x8 album size. And so I thought I would start with this 3x4 cut apart page. This is from the kit. It's from BoBunny. And what I love about this kit is the color palette. Beautiful colors. They're bright and happy, and a little bit of distress, and just some gorgeous pattern papers in this kit. I've been blowing through them. And so I'm cutting up some of those cards. I'm going to use one or two of them. I'm not sure exactly quite yet. But what I thought I would do is take this larger sheet of pattern paper. This is from 49 in Market, and I'm going to cut it into 3x4 cards to fit into the pocket page, and they'll be the background for the other elements for this right hand side of the layout. The left hand side of the layout is a full page photo, and I'll tell you just quickly the story. I've talked about this little side table before. This was from my mom, and we recently found a new home for it. And so I wanted to tell that story. And I love this because in the past, this story would have been a little tiny piece of a bigger 12x24 layout in pocket pages, and it might have gotten a little bit lost. But here I feel like it stands on its own. It gets a whole layout to itself. And so what happened was there was a glass cabinet here before, and I wanted to use that upstairs instead. So we moved that upstairs, and that left this space empty. So we had this little table on the stair landing, which now the stair landing is a work in progress. But I've noticed over the last few days, I stop right there and just enjoy seeing it in that spot. So once I have some of those cards cut apart now, and I've sort of pulled a few, I went for these blues and these browns, and now I'm just sort of going through some of the die cuts. This is an amazing ephemera pack and just a ton of goodies. I have used this for 3 or 4 layouts now and still have a bunch of little pieces left to use for other layouts. So what I sort of went for was other blue labels, the little blue notebook torn piece, a ticket, some tickets, one of the tags, 1 or 2 of the tags, the yellows and the kind of browns, and also a little bit of pink and red, just going from the colors that are on that background pattern paper and sort of expanding on that. And so what I thought I would do is use 2 of these quotes, the one that I cut out from the 3x4 card, and then this second quote, I'm going to leave it on the little washi tape and the little paper that it's on. And then the little brown quote, I backed that with the little pink notebook paper. And then for my journaling, I'm going to just do a really simple label stack here on that top pocket with a little tab sticking out of the top. That's what I'm cutting out here. And that way I'll have a nice little space to add a few words and write a little bit about why I wanted to include this story in the album. And so I like how that looks. And then I have like this last little 3x4 card that I'm still trying to figure out. I cut out that little butterfly. Notice how when I cut it out, I left a bit of the white around it. And that way it doesn't have to be quite so perfect. That's my little trick for fussy cutting. And then I also added that little yellow circle underneath that brown quote again, just to add another little layer there and a little pop of color. And I'm also going to do the same with the blue quote. I'm just adding the little pink leaves behind that. Just expanding on those little embellishment clusters. Just start out simple and then add some things below and on top of it. I'm going to write out my story here. I'm just using my own handwriting. Very messy, very imperfect, and that's mostly how I like to do it. I love the simplicity of that. I know that typed journaling definitely has a benefit. It always makes me feel like I'm writing more, but there's also room for your own handwriting too. You can do a mix of both. And so then I went and grabbed a couple of stamp sets. These are just Studio Calico stamps I've had in my stash. And what I thought I would do is stamp a little bit on the background to add a few more words here and there, but also to sort of frame these clusters. Because there's a lot of color happening, the embellishment clusters seem to fade into the background paper a little bit. And so adding these little tiny stamps just sort of frames them and brings your eye to the edges of these little embellishments. This one little stamp is like a little tiny starburst, but notice the impact that has just stamping that on some of those corners and edges. It helps those clusters to pop a little bit off of that background. That's a cool little stamping trick for you today. So then I wanted to add a little embellishment here to the photo. I wanted to keep it simple. Notice how simple this whole layout really is, even though there's different layers and different stamping. It's still pretty quiet. And so I'm just going to do this little tag. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I stamped the little word strip, or I didn't stamp it. I stapled the little word strip backwards. So I realized it was saying amazing absolutely instead of absolutely amazing. So guess what I did? I pulled it up and just stapled it back down. There's an extra set of holes there and everything is just fine. It's perfectly imperfect. And I kind of like the idea of this little tag just kind of hanging on the side here. I'm going to do that little starburst stamp again on that tag, just repeating that element from the right hand side. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down, and I got to deal with this little string. First off, I decided to have it just sort of fall off the page a little bit. I will go back and trim that. So I decided to tack the top of that little string down, just trying to get it in the right position there, and just using the tiny attacher so that that sort of permanently sits there. It's a little bit of a repeat of the vertical lines that are in that photo, and it looks kind of fun. So I think that completes the layout. Thank you so much for watching. You can see more details on my blog. I'll also have links down below for the product that is still available at the Clique Kits shop. Thank you so much, and I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.